Oh, babe, I can't. Oh, angel, you, I need to comfort you, go. I need to go. Alright, so for today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how me and my boy Melo came up with the sample. I'm going to show you how we came up with those two simple chords and how we turned it into something much more complicated. We were going for like that late night Drake vibe, the ones where you reflect about your life when you're driving on the highway. These vibes are extremely simple to make, but I think it comes down to a couple of things: your sound selection, your chords. If you learned something, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know what videos I should do next. I upload every Wednesdays and every Saturdays. So the first chord is a G chord. Going into the second chord, which is a D minor chord. And that's pretty much it. Super simple, two chords. Now I'm gonna go inside of FL Studio and I'm gonna show you how we can make it sound a little bit more complicated. All right, so now we are in FL Studio and I'm going to show you what it looks like. And I know you're like, yo, this doesn't look like two chords, but it's really based upon those two chords. And I'm gonna show you why. So here you could see we have the chord that I just showed you, the G chord. And then I played this in. This is super simple. I was just playing. That's just kind of what happened. But if you kind of want to do the same thing, you can just cut it up, add some notes that are in the scale, and see what sounds good. This is my best advice to you if you don't play the keys. Anyways, so this chord right here, it looks super complicated, but it's not. And I'm going to show you exactly why. They're the same notes. You see what I'm saying? All I did, pitch it up. That's it. So far, this is what we have. All right, so when we get to the third part of this chord progression, you could see that all I did was just add some extra notes, flip some notes around, and I highly suggest you to do this. You could just do inversions, just, flip some notes around, see what sounds best. And that's exactly what I did. In order to do this, you just have to find the notes that's in the scale that's next to each other, and you're able to add some tension. And this is a perfect example because this is a D minor ninth. The only difference is that I added those two notes close to each other in order to give it that tension, but it's still a D minor ninth. With that being said, I think when you're doing your chord progression, you don't have to do the most complicated chords. Instead, you could use different inversions with the same chord. So it's going to be the same chord, it's just played differently. This is a really good felt piano and it's from Contact. I love using it. I use it all the time. So now you may say, Reggie, what does the piano have on it? Just a Shep 73. It's just to take out the low end because sometimes it could get a little muddy because the piano is so low in volume, so I have to bring it up. So I just did that just to be safe, but it's definitely not necessary in order to get that type of sound. One of my biggest advice in order to get your piano to sound good is to play it, because when you play it, you have the natural velocity, and especially if you keep practicing your piano skills, I think you'll be able to play it a little bit better than if you click it in. So after doing all of these different adjustments, this is how the piano sounds. All right, boom. So once I had the chords, I ended up going to 40's very own keys, and I'm using the 40 piano preset. And what I have on it is nothing because it just sounds that good. Another thing that I want to mention is if you look at my pattern, it's exactly the same chords. It's just without the embellishments, and it's super simple in order to get that late night Drake vibe with the smooth pad. I ended up making like a simple drum pattern in order to hear the bounce, in order to get that idea of like how it would sound with some drums. So this is how that sounds all together so far. All right, so having those two together really set the vibe and the foundation of the sample. So then I layered it with this pad, and this is from Omnisphere. And what we have on it is a high-end cut. And we just took out a bunch of the high end. For the next sound, we're using this More Life preset. And what we have on there is just a high cut again, just taking out a lot of the highs. And then we just put a reverb on it. This is how everything sounds so far. All right, so for the next sound, I'm using this pad. It's called You With Me. I actually made it myself using my Prophet 10. Let me know if you think I should drop an analog live thing. This is how that sounds. All right, so for the bass, I ended up layering this Trillion preset with this other preset that I had made. And my boy Osoma sent me this one shot for the Teenage Fever, and then I just put in pigments and I just enhanced it, to be honest. I just ended up copying the root notes and I just added this extra note right here. And that's pretty much all I did. So all together with everything that I've shown you with all the layers, this is how it sounds so far. And my boy Melo ended up sending me this reverse sound. And this is just a piano reverse. And then he sent me this pad. And probably what he put on it was probably like a shaper box in order to sidechain it and make the volume go down and kind of automate the volume really. And then take out a lot of the low end and just keep the high end in order to make it feel more full. And then he sent me this synth. So what I ended up doing here is I ended up reversing the piano on my own. The only difference is I ended up adding some delay in order to make it have a little bit more movement. And this is how that sounds. All right, so for the vocals, a singer had sent me an idea maybe like 2 months before, and I just never did anything with it. And I ended up pulling it back up, and then we just flipped it into this, and we just put it in Serato sample, and it was as easy as that. All right, so the main sauce for this vocal specifically is this plugin right here. And this plugin just makes it sound a lot more thin and takes out a lot of the low end. And I don't know, it just gives it a specific vibe that I'm looking for. So, and then I just put an NS1 and then some reverb. And this is how it sounds without it. This is how it sounds with it. Now that I had these vocals, I ended up flipping the vocals again. And what I did was I just kind of sped up the vocals like this, and then I just put it at 50, and it made the vocal a lot faster. And I think this is major sauce because you're able to find certain chops inside of the vocal and then utilize it in a different way. So this is exactly what I did. And what I have on here is I put the same thing, the Abbey Roads King's microphone, and I put an EQ in order to take out some of the low end, and then the NS1 in order to take out the noise, and then put a reverb, and then put a delay. And that's pretty much it. And that's how I was able to get those weird vocals, but Drake ass vocals, you know what I mean? So this is how it sounds all together so far. When you're messing around with the vocals, I highly recommend you to do it with some drums in the background because it's easier to keep them on time and see how it would sound with a bounce specifically. So how I did the piano runs for this melody was I pitched the piano to D sharp minor, and then I just went down on the black notes. So went like this, and then just went back up. That's pretty much it. If you have your melody in D sharp, you just press the black notes. That's pretty much it. And this is how that sounds all together. All right, so for this section, my boy Melo ended up reversing the vocals and chopping it, and this is how that sounds. All right, so the next sound is from this plugin called Legend. Shout out to my boy Say Queasy. He definitely put me on, and I'm using the preset that he actually put me on. Um, what I had on there was just a reverb and then a shaper box, and the shaper box is just spanning it left and right. And originally, this is how it sounded. And what I ended up doing was I ended up reversing it and then played different stuff on top of it and then just reversed it again and then just try to find different pockets in order to sound cool. And this is how that came about. So one thing that I take away from this sample, especially this section, is just not being afraid to chop and also reverse certain things. So what I did was experiment on being able to just reverse random things and just chop it and be able to find different things within what I already had. So with that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you learned one thing or two. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed to the channel. I can't believe we're already at 500 subscribers. Let me know what you want to see down below. I have a fire video coming out Saturday. I can't wait to share this next sample with you guys. It's absolutely insane. Um, Anyways, thank you for watching. Let me know what you want to see next and give me some tips, advice. Let me know what you think I should do better or what I can explain a little bit more. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, and I'm going to see you on Saturday.